everyone and welcome back to another video. So we have a fitnessy video today. We have 5 must-do exercises for our back. I am mainly focusing on our upper back region rather than like all of our back and like the muscles that go down the spine. We're doing the upper back because that's what I think of when I think back. I tend to get my like erector spinae, to go the technical term. If that is wrong, I was joking. I don't know, I tend to get that in other ways, like when I'm doing deadlifts and things like that. So we're going to do mainly the upper back. There are loads and loads of exercises that you can do for your back, and there are loads and loads of muscles in your upper back. These are all over a little bit. We're going for a few different muscles in the back. Some of them bring in your shoulders. Some of them you could argue are a shoulder exercise, but they definitely help with your upper back. So yeah, we've got 5 must do. I said this in the quad exercise videos that I did a while back, that when I say must do, I don't mean must do. I just mean try them, give them a go. If you like them, do them. They're a must do. If you don't like them, they are not a must do. Get them out of your plan now if you hate them. Also, I'm home alone with Oakley, so if you can hear him chewing, it's because he's distracting himself whilst I'm talking to the camera. So I'm sorry if you can hear that and it's distracting. But yeah, we're just doing 5 exercises that I think you should try, that I tend to like. I don't really put exercises that I don't like in any of my videos, so I do like these ones. But if you try it and you do not like it, that is fine. It is not a must do for you if you don't like it. It's a catchy title, isn't it? Right, I have them on my phone because I filmed these the other day. So let's see which one we should start with. We're going to start with one of the basic ones, and it's single arm seated row. A lot of them, 2 of them, so less than half, are single arm. You can definitely do them doing double arm, like 3 of these are using both your arms at the same time. But on some of the exercises, like the single arm row, I just prefer the way it feels. I prefer how I can feel the contraction better. When I'm doing a seated row, when I do both arms, sometimes I just find it difficult to concentrate on both sides and make sure both sides are contracting. So you can do it both arm if that's what you prefer, but I just prefer single. I feel like I can definitely like concentrate better. So seated single arm row. Most gyms tend to have this setup where there's something to sit on and then you can pull it and it's at a nice angle. If you don't have this setup, if you're in like quite a low equipment type gym, because I know I didn't have this at my student accommodation gym, you can sit on the floor. It'll be a bit of a more like straight on angle, whereas like a seated row is more like a down. It'll probably be more like just like perpendicular at the floor. So you can definitely do it that way, it's just the angles are a little bit different. But most of these, most gyms have this seated machine cable, that type of thing. This is different to a plate loaded one because there's definitely more freedom of movement in this compared to a plate loaded machine, because obviously you can choose how you pull it. When a machine, you've got to pull it in a certain way. So form tips. You want to make sure you have a good base, so put your feet on that platform that you can see at the front. If it doesn't have that, and if you're doing it on the floor, try and get something that you can put your feet on. So when I used to do it at student accommodation, I would put my feet on the bottom of the cable. You need something to like anchor you in, because if not, your core's not going to be able to deal with it well. It's going to be more your core than your back. You're going to feel unsteady. Try and get as secure as possible. Put your feet nice and even, and then make sure you have good posture. You do not want your back curved like this and pulling like that. It's not going to be working the right muscles. It's bad posture. We don't want that. We want good posture. So we want to be sitting nice and upright. When you're reaching for the cable, let your arm come forward a little bit. So if you can see when I'm doing it, let it go forward a little bit. Relax your shoulder. And then when you are pulling back, imagine your hand, well, no, I haven't personal trained for a while. Give me a break while I figure this out. Imagine that your hand and your elbow are going towards your hip rather than just pulling back. You're going to much more efficiently use your muscles if you are pulling towards your hip rather than pulling upwards, because if we're pulling upwards, we're just going to be using the lat here. Whereas if you're pulling down, you're going to use all, well not all of it, but the majority of your upper back. So hand to hip rather than just pulling and bending your arm. You want a good contraction at the back. Make sure that your shoulders aren't hunching up. That should come if you're coming towards your hip, but if you're lacking on that, your shoulder might like hunch up. Try and keep your shoulder back. Nice contraction at the back. Forward, relax, and then come back again. You want a nice good contraction for all of them. We will go for another basic. This is a lat pull down. This is my favourite lat pull down, apart from another one that we have on here. But it is a very basic one. Again, a lot of gyms have this, or if there is just a cable machine, there's normally a lat pull down like attachment, like a really long bar, and then it goes down at the sides. We can use that attachment for this one, or we can use a little bar that's about this big. It doesn't really matter. I prefer using the long ones just because it allows me to feel the weight a bit more. But we're doing underhand grip. Use an underhand grip. I personally can feel it better in my lats more, so we are using our lats, which is here. And I prefer underhand than overhand, and I prefer quite a narrow grip. This is a really good exercise if you're trying to lead up to doing pull-ups or chin-ups. I haven't put them in because they're quite a complicated exercise and I don't feel like they're a must do, but these are a good exercise if you're trying to get to that first chin-up or first pull-up. Similar to the single arm row, you want to get a little bit of relaxation. So when you are up at the top, I don't have a bra on, I'm worried I'm going to flash my boobs. It should be fine. When you're at the top, let your lats stretch. Don't keep your lats contracted the entire time. Let them stretch, and then you are pulling down through your lats here. So these are the things that are pulling it. Don't just pull down like this. You want to pull the lats back and down. So that means you aren't coming all the way down at your chest. Your lats can only contract so far. Once you're past about, if I do contract my lats now, once you're past about there, it's not your lats anymore. They've relaxed again. So it should only be coming down to maybe chin height. And so you can feel that maximum, like this lats squeezing. And then you're going back up. That's it. That's the exercise. But the main thing that people do wrong is that they come way too low, which means that it's just not your lats doing it anymore. So make sure that it's your lats that are pulling it. Make sure, again, your form is nice, your posture, sorry, is nice and like straight. You don't want to be like really overarching your back. You're more likely to be like overarching your back than like crouching over. Make sure you don't have like a massive curve in your spine. It's going to hurt your back. Don't want that. Make sure the pad is securely on your legs. It might feel a little bit tight. Have it tighter rather than like there's a bit of a gap, because you're just going to fly off the seat. We don't want that. We will stick on the lats. So this next one is, I don't know the official name for it. I've called it kneeling single arm lat pull down. This is just, again, using lats but in a different kind of angle, different plane of movement. Instead of going straight up and down, it's more of an angle and you are leaning over towards the angle. I very rarely feel my lats, and this is one of the 2 exercises that I actually feel my lats. I find this very, very useful. So you want your opposite leg to be up than the side you are using, because you want a nice sturdy base. If you do it on the same side, you're going to topple over, or you're going to feel like you're wobbling all over the place. Opposite leg to the arm that you are using, and exactly the same as the last one. Make sure that it's your lat doing it. If you come all the way down, your lat's not using it. You want to be able to pull down, feel that contraction, and then again come back up, relax, so let that arm go forward, and then you're going to pull down again. It is very similar to the underhand lat pull down because we're using the same muscle, so there's not much to say on it, but give it a try. It doesn't look like it's going to be as effective, but I really, really like this one. Okay, moving on to a bit of a different muscle group. So the last 3 have been mainly lats. This is going into more rhomboids and traps, okay? So we're going like further up the back. This is a high row. I see this done loads and loads of different ways. The way I am doing it on this video is that the height of the cable is about shoulder height, and we are pulling back with our arms going straight back at like a 90-degree angle to your body, not up. That's face pulse. We are actually coming on to that next. But this is just a high row. So this is, like I said, doing the rhomboids and the traps right up at the top back. You want to make sure that you are using your back, not your arms or your shoulders. I know it's all iffy, but it's your back, okay? So exactly the same as the other ones. Let your arms relax, and then you are pulling back using your back muscle. So imagine that you are spreading your elbows out, and then your back should be squeezing tight. You should feel the tension in your back. You want to try and keep your arms level to your shoulders. Don't let them go up. It's easy. They're going to drop down. They are going to try and drop down. You want to try and keep them high, because that's how you're going to get the rhomboids and the traps working. You will come to shoulder. You can't really go further back. Your arms aren't going to do that. So don't worry about how far you're going back. You're just pulling back till you feel the squeeze. Going forward, again, let that stretch happen, and then coming back. I realise I'm mimicking it when you can see it on there, but it's just easier when I'm talking. Okay, coming on to the last one. This is the one that is very much tied in with shoulders, okay? This is using all of the little muscles that are in your shoulders as well as your back. You are working your traps a bit here, you're working your delts as well, which is your shoulders, but I like including this in your back, like exercises, because it does affect it. So, as you can see, it is very similar to a high row when you set it up, but you don't go back forward. You're staying in that position and moving back, okay? That's all it is. This is excellent for posture, okay? This is a brilliant, brilliant exercise for posture. The form tips are similar to the last one. Keep your elbow up at shoulder height, and then you are coming back to a 90-degree angle. If your posture isn't great, or if you feel like you have a weak back, that is going to be really, really difficult. Like, it sounds like it's easy. It's not. It's really, really difficult. I haven't watched this video back. I probably don't have the best form because I don't have the best posture. So make sure that your arm is going as much into that 90 degrees as you can and coming forward. If you're doing this both at the same time, like what I do, the best thing to do is to get 2 ropes and tie them together. 1 rope isn't going to have enough like distance. It's going to whack you in the face, and then you're going to come in like this rather than being at that 90-degree angle. So try with 2 ropes. You can do the single arm if you want. I just prefer like the directional movement that I get from 2 ropes. If I do it with 1 arm, it's quite hard to stay in that 90-degree angle. So I prefer it with 2 ropes, but try it however you want it. But this is a brilliant exercise for your posture. Right, and that is all of them. Like I say, there's tons of back exercises, but these are just 5 that I really, really like. I use them all the time, and you can vary them up. Like single arm seated row, you can very easily change to a different kind of cable. You can do it on the plates. It's very easy to switch it up. It's just these ones are the ones that I personally feel it. So I thought it would be good to share that with you. If you have found this useful, please let me know. If you're going to try any of them, please comment and let me know. I love to hear that I've actually helped somebody with all my rambling. But if you don't, that's fine. Leave the video a like though, or like at least subscribe. I'm trying to hit my goal of 2,500 subscribers by the end of the year. Hoping it's gonna happen, but it'd be great if you could help me out in that and subscribe. But even if you don't do all of that, thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall hopefully see you in another one. Bye.